All right, I've done a couple of videos not too long ago concerning dog aggression, dog-on-dog aggression, okay, fighting dogs or aggressive dogs, and the various approaches to modifying this behaviour, to fixing this behaviour and to creating a dog that's now pro-social and not dog aggressive. And I criticised, and I hold true to the criticism that I gave, the approach of a purely positive or a force-free dog trainer, which would generally be counter-conditioning and systematic desensitisation. I won't go into what the terminology means, but it just basically means getting a dog that views something as bad and making it then view it as positive. Okay, so switching the association that the dog's got in a nutshell. And I talked also about people who claim it possible to be able to rehabilitate an aggressive dog in a short time frame. Something's occurred to me. I've been watching a lot of videos that trainers and people have been putting on the internet where claims, largely exaggerated claims, are being made about dogs being rehabilitated for dog aggression. And what I think is a major factor in this is that a lot of these guys, a lot of these people, they're either willfully choosing or naively not recognising the difference between a trained response, okay, so where the dog now understands and where an association has been replaced, they're failing to recognise the difference between something like that and suppression, behavioural suppression. And to put a video out of, or one of these hundreds of videos out of dogs that are walking, you know, a few hours later, so first off they're kicking off towards other dogs, and then a few hours later this dog's walking on by, and this is this sort of like wow factor, you know, of like, whoa, this dog's been completely changed. And you get all manner of sort of like reasons or excuses or explanations as to why this has happened, ranging from the bizarre to the completely and utterly, well, ludicrously unbelievable. Things such as altering the state of the energy, you know, the dog's energy, or the mindset, or that the dog's making good choices, or that, you know, this advocacy thing, and all this sort of stuff comes out. And you're looking at it, you know, and if you can read a dog, if you can genuinely read a dog, you look at this dog and you think the behaviour's suppressed. That's what you've done. You've suppressed the behaviour, because generally the dog has on a pinch collar or a remote collar or a slip or a choke or, you know, martingale or something like that. It has something that's capable of being delivered, having correction delivered, which is fine. I've got no issue with it. Absolutely no issue with it at all. But to claim or to video a dog that's walking by another dog and that you can clearly see that dog licking its lips, lowering its head posture, moving away from the other dog, everything that basically shows an association of a negative association with that dog that is then rewarded. You know, the trainer is then rewarding that, because what the trainer sees is a dog that isn't kicking off, all right, that isn't fighting, or isn't, not that it's fighting, but or isn't lunging towards or jumping towards. What the trainer sees is a dog that's walking along without reacting. But when you look at the dog, which is the only thing that matters, when you look at the dog, what the dog is saying is, I don't like it. I don't like it. Once the dog has passed and the food goes away, the dog's happy again, because the dog's passed and because the food comes in. Not because I understand that when I'm walking past this dog, I need to behaviourally shut down. And that isn't happening anyway. The dog isn't shutting down. What it certainly isn't doing is demonstrating the behavioural response that you're looking for. What it's demonstrating is a behavioural suppression. You know, so it's a fear. There's sort of like stressful fear responses coming out, and they're being rewarded by the trainer. There are other videos as well that I'm seeing where dogs are claiming to be rehabilitated within a period of weeks. I know I've mentioned this before, but prior to the dog going back, you're seeing a dog in a relatively sterile area, and it's with the trainer or the people that have trained it, and there's dressage whips, and there's pinch collars, and there's remote collars, or even if there aren't pinch collars and remote collars, there's dressage whips, and the dressage whips are there so that the trainers can, in their own words, advocate for the dog, guide the dog into making good choices, etc., etc. But what you've got to do is you've got to look at yourself and ask, why am I still needing to do that? If I've rehabilitated this dog, if I've genuinely solved this problem, why the hell am I carrying a dressage whip? These other dogs, they're all pro-social. My target dog is now pro-social. What's the point? Why do I have it in my hand? Why do I still have a pinch on the dog? Why? You know, and this is the thing where when people disable comments for their videos, these are the sort of questions that you should be standing there and answering. You should be explaining. If it's genuinely because, do you know what? Because the dog isn't rehabilitated. Because you can't actually rehabilitate a dog in 4 weeks. What you can do is suppress behaviour, reinforce incompatible alternatives, and devise a management plan to take that dog forward for the rest of its life until, after a period of years, what is now a sort of like default behaviour in the negative sense becomes a distant memory, and the newly trained behaviour starts to become default. Not that it ever can if you've got a dog that in its formative months of life developed that negative response, because that's the dog's blueprint. So you're always going to be managing in some way, shape or form. But the honest thing to do is to explain that, or is to certainly allow people to ask so that you can answer. But this whole sort of like the dog has been rehabilitated because it's been put out. I mean, even this whole sort of like pack thing, you know, fine, if you want to take your dogs for a big bunch, walk with a big bunch of dogs, absolutely fine. But that's all it is. That's all it is. You're not affecting states of mind. You're not sort of like, and you know it. You know it. Because if you truly were, the dogs would be completely naked and they would be with you, their pack leader, and they would be walking happy through. But then you get things like, oh, well, there's leash laws, so I can't because there's leash laws. Drive to a field. Drive to a field. Do it there, where there's no leash laws. Take them to a beach. Do it there, where there's no leash laws. Show that this is genuinely down to my individual calm assertive energy, to coin a certain person's phrase, but not to sort of like point a finger at that person. But this whole sort of like, you know, it's the power of the pack sort of thing. Take the leads off. If it's the power of the pack, take the leads off. Certainly when you've got a dog that's come into that pack for 2 days. You know, you've got a dog that's been in there 2 days and now because of the power of the pack it's such and such. Yeah, you put a dog into an environment that it doesn't know or it doesn't fully understand, and it's not going to start revealing itself straight off, because why will I? I'm going to lose. I don't know who I'm with. You know, if you turn up into a room of aggressive people and you consider yourself to be aggressive, you might hold back a little bit until you get a feel of things. And that's generally across the board for anything. You start a new job, you might be a little bit withdrawn until you understand who you're dealing with and what the lie of the land is. And that's exactly what you're seeing when you put a dog into a pack of dogs and you see, again, behavioural suppression. The dog sort of like self-inhibits its own responses until it understands what's going on. But there are too many trainers, people, trainers, whatever, who don't understand this. They really, really don't understand it. And it is basics, man. It is basics. And it infuriates me. And I don't know why, because it should make no difference to me. But I don't like the fact that people are being sold this snake oil, you know, this sort of like panacea that, you know, and even worse when I've seen loads of other trainers, but we've managed to do this. No, you haven't. Not until the dog breathes its last breath, and between then and the time it left your training facility, it hasn't tried to aggress towards another dog. Then you've rehabilitated that dog. But until that time, you're setting managing protocols. There is no rehabilitation unless the dog has died without incident. And that incident has been, you know, the dog hasn't had to be on any sort of management tools at all. It's been free to do whatever, to make the decisions that it's wanted to, and it has chosen as a result of your input not to do so. That's honest. But disabling comments for videos, I just, as I say, from a marketing point of view, from a business point of view, yes, I understand it's going to get people to the door, and it's going to get you more bookings. But at the end of the day, mate, whoever it is, whoever you are, you've got to sleep at night.